4 p.m. sumergirme en mi propia miseria. 4:30 contemplar el abismo. 5 p.m. solucionar la hambruna mundial sin decírselo a nadie. 5:30 danza ejercicio. 6:30 cena conmigo, esa no la cancelaré. 7 p.m. luchar con el odio que me tengo. Estoy ocupado.
Medusa era una mujer mortal, hermosa y tentadora. Tanta era su belleza que deslumbró a Poseidón, dios del mar. Él no descansó hasta seducirla y satisfacer su deseo contra la voluntad de ella en el templo de Atenea. Atenea, diosa de la pureza y castidad, se ve terriblemente ofendida y castiga a Medusa, ya que simbolizaba todo lo contrario a ella. Los cabellos de Medusa se volvieron serpientes, sus ojos emitían una luz que quien los miraba directamente se convertía en piedra. Medusa se había transformado en un monstruo, pero aún se hacía valer por su andar provocador que hipnotizaba a cualquiera. Atenea, viendo que su castigo no había sido lo que ella esperaba, envió a Perseo a cortar su cabeza, y este muy inteligentemente usó su escudo a modo de espejo para que Medusa se reflejara en él y de este modo pudiera vencerla. Desde entonces, la cabeza de Medusa fue utilizada por Atenea como escudo en sus batallas. Su sangre fue guardada, ya que la de su vena izquierda era un veneno mortal, y la del lado derecho tenía características sanadoras que resucitaba a los muertos.
Take off my makeup with me. Like, am I just going to like, how? I can't see anything. Am I? Oh no, I made it. Oh my gosh, they're out. So I guess next step is just taking off this. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. How did I do this? Oh gosh, okay, these gotta wait. I gotta get off the cotton first. Okay, this is the most chaotic take off my makeup with me I've ever done. I guess it's time for lashes now. Oh, this is probably really bad for my skin as well. Oh no.
One day, my cousin made a Tinder, and we were having a family barbecue, so he came over. He was like, oh my god, Sam, like this really hot girl just like matched with me, and then he shows me. And then I see the profile, and it's literally pictures of Madison beer. But the name on the profile was like Kalani. I was like, bro, I don't know who you think you're fucking texting, but it's not Madison beer. You're texting someone's fucking auntie right now, whole ass auntie. He's like, guess we're about to find out. I was like, no, what the no? He's like, yeah, I just gave her the Addy. She's about to pull up. Like, we're gonna meet. Like, it's all cool, Sam. Like, trust me. Trust me. Trust me, he said. Okay. I trusted him. So I see a car pull up, and he's like, oh my god, I think it's her. I was like, oh shit, what if I do meet Madison Beer? The door freaking opens, and this old lady pops up. I look at my cousin, and I'm like, go hug her. Go. You were so excited. It's Kalani, the one and only. Come on.
If the men find out we can shapeshift, they're going to tell the church. Eliminate the nose. You can pretend that you have no nostrils. Men will be bewitched and hand over their wallets.
My daughter Savannah is the CEO of faking illness to get out of school. So when she does not feel like being there, she will go to the nurse's office and complain to them that she is really not feeling good, so that they call me and I have to go get her. Well, one day after this happens, I walk into the administrative office and everybody is really concerned because Savannah is sitting in a chair like so dramatically, like, hi, Mom. And like when I saw her, I burst out laughing. I was like, oh my god, are you okay? And everybody looked at me like I was some really bad mom, like, oh my god, why aren't you more concerned? But as we were walking out, she was walking really slow and actually didn't look good. So even I was a little concerned. I was like, oh my god, honey, are you okay? Until we got to the car, when Savannah looks at me and goes, you know what, Mom, I feel better now. And I was like, Savannah, are you serious? And she's like, Mom, do you maybe want to go to Starbucks and have like a girls' day? And I was like, honey, what kind of question is that? You know I do. So when I was a sophomore in high school, I had this teacher who would only let the students in her class use the restroom one time per semester. Well, one day I raised my hand and I was like, excuse me, I don't remember her name. Can I please use the restroom? And she was like, no, you can't because you've already used the restroom in my class this semester. well, excuse me, you can't dictate my bladder. So I'm like all frustrated, and I started secretly texting my mom because I wasn't allowed to use my phone in class. And I was like, Mom, I'm sitting in class right now. My teacher won't let me use the restroom. And she was like, I'll take care of it for you. And I was like, okay. So like 5 minutes goes by, and all of a sudden my teacher's phone starts ringing, and she walks up to it and answers it, and she's like, hello? Yeah. Okay, thank you. And then she walks up to me like so angry, and she like slams the pass on my desk, and she was like, since you have to go that bad. And I was like, yeah, I really do, thanks. And I got up and left. I didn't even have to go to the bathroom. It was just the principle of it. I just roamed the halls.
Ayo, eyeshadow palette check. Show your least expensive palette, your most expensive palette, your newest palette, your oldest palette, your most used palette, your least used palette, your most colorful palette, a palette with your favorite packaging, a palette that you use every day, a palette that you have not touched yet, and lastly, your favorite palette.
This girl literally lived a nightmare. A 17-year-old girl was watching TV late at night when her motion detector lights in her driveway suddenly went on. She assumed it was just an animal, so she got up, drew the blinds, and went back to watching TV. Then a little bit later, it happened again. Before she could even react, she looks over and clearly makes out a silhouette of a person right behind the blinds who starts banging aggressively on the window. The girl stands up and goes, "I'm gonna call the cops!" And the figure stops for just a second, sprints to the side door and starts pounding even louder on that, screaming incoherently. The girl runs to the bathroom, barricades herself inside while she waits for the police, and then her worst nightmares come true. She hears glass shatter in the other room. After a few minutes of silence, she opens her door just a crack to get a peek outside, and standing in her living room next to a broken window is some crazy old woman who looks over at her and starts sprinting toward her. The lady comes smashing into the door and starts wailing on it until the police arrive and take her away. She was a lunatic who had escaped her facility.
Story time, the biggest lie I ever got away with as a teenager. So my sister and I were going to spend the weekend at my stepdad's, and I asked my parents if I could bring a friend. My dad said he didn't care, and my stepmom said no. And my parents were really strict. But obviously I did not listen. So I invited my friend, and her parents were also really strict. So we came up with this elaborate plan that I would ask her parents and tell them that it was a surprise for her. And they believed it. So the day comes whenever we're supposed to leave to go up to my stepdad's. So we get off the bus, walk to my house, and my stepmom was asleep because she worked night shifts. So I was able to sneak my friend through the house to my bedroom. Little did she know she was going to have to hide in the closet. So my stepmom came in and needed to borrow a pair of socks for work. And I was literally guarding the closet with my life. And she goes, "Get away from the closet, you're acting so suspicious. What's in there?" Like for part 2, by the way, Stacy and Candace, if you see this, my bad.
So recently for my Pinterest Fix My Eyeshadow, I was trying to recreate this look and came out with this. I've gotten a great deal of constructive criticism and tips, so I want to use those tips to recreate the look again today. No one said anything about my priming, so I just left it as is. But I did get a few comments about starting with the darker color. This one too. So I dipped into my darkest color, which in this case is Escape. I also got a comment to blend shadows with the same color family. So I'm blending this darker color out with the shade Single and using Pinkity Drinkity on the edges. Another comment said to cut my crease a bit higher and add a light blue eyeshadow. So I did a half cut crease a bit higher and added the light blue eyeshadow. I also got a recommendation to use a different glitter. And I did end up finding another glitter in my collection, so we're gonna use this one for today. Wow, I love how this color looks. And the next tip is quite interesting. She recommended me to use eyelash glue to make my brush a little bit more precise. And I think that's a genius idea. I'm going to be using the brush that came with the NYX liquid liner because the liner dried out and this is the thinnest one I own. Don't have time, look out for part 2.
When I was 13, I lived next door to this super cool and beautiful girl named Stephanie. And Stephanie was very popular and always hanging out with her friends at her house. And whenever I was bored at my house, my mom would be like, "Why don't you go over to Stephanie's?" And I'd be like, "Mom, Stephanie would never want to hang out with me." But then one day, Stephanie knocked on my door and was like, "Hey Lydia, I'm having a bonfire in my backyard tonight if you want to come by." So that night I went over to Stephanie's backyard. So I was chilling, sitting by the campfire, playing it cool. But then one of Stephanie's friends, Shelby, was like, "My butt hurts from sitting in the grass. David, I'm gonna come sit in your lap." And then all of the girls decided that they were gonna sit in the boys' laps. And there was one boy left Tyler, and it felt like everyone was expecting me to go sit in Tyler's lap. So I go sit down in Tyler's lap, and it's all very exciting because I've never sat in a boy's lap before. And then someone says something funny, and I start laughing. But the pressure of my laughter causes a long, loud fart to escape from my 13-year-old butthole. And everyone goes silent. And then Stephanie goes, "Did someone just fart?" And Tyler goes, "I think it was Lydia." And I go, "No, it wasn't, but I think I'm gonna go home now." And now it's been 12 years since I farted in Tyler's lap, and I still think about it at least once a week. When adults tell you that certain things won't be embarrassing when you get older, they're lying.
Do you see this? I can't breathe. Where are you, Christmas? My nose has started leaking underneath this. Well, what do we think?
This is me, taking off a look that took 3 hours. I've only had it on for 5 minutes. But I'm really not looking to break out. I'm really hoping I at least
In high school, I had a friend who lived in this old, small apartment building. And on the first floor was this old guy named Dave who had apparently lived in the building forever. And no one really knew what Dave's deal was. The only time people saw him is when he walked outside to walk his tiny dog. But other than that, he never left his apartment. He had a nephew who delivered him groceries once a week. My friend just assumed that Dave was too old or had some sort of sickness that prevented him from leaving the house. One day, my friend was coming home from school and Dave's nephew was leaving the apartment building. And my friend is really sweet, so she was like, "Hey, I know Dave sometimes has troubles getting out of the house, so if you ever need me to go over there and bring him something, let me know. I'm always happy to help." And the nephew looked really shocked and terrified. He was like, "No, you should never go over to Dave's ever." And then he got really awkward and he was like, "Okay, gotta go, bye." And then a few weeks later, my friend was coming home from a Halloween party late at night. And when she got inside her apartment building, Dave's door on the first floor was wide open. And it was pitch black inside his apartment. But then she heard something behind her.
Come on, please, let's go. Like, I'm tired of being late. Like, this is...
I'm ready.
Gosh, man.
Go.
No, you're not. What are you wearing, babe?
What do you mean, what am I wearing?
Babe, this isn't Rainforest Cafe right now. Like, put on, like, a little bit of makeup or something.
How dare you say that? I look hot.
Babe, you're like damn Jane from Georgia the Jungle. Come on, just change your top and
Pendejo, I look hot.
Babe, do a little...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just saying, do your hair or something. Put on a little extra makeup. Babe.
I have makeup on, Kellen.
Well, it doesn't look like it. I'm saying is just put some more.
You're calling me ugly?
I'm not calling you
ugly. ¿Me estás llamando
ugly.
fea?
No.
¿Me estás llamando fea?
No, babe, just...
Pendejo?
Change.
Fíjate.
Change is all I'm saying.